Hi friends! Today we're going to keep learning about seeds and plants, and we're going to read this really cool book that's called From Seed to Plant by our friend Gail Gibbons. Remember, we also read a book about sea turtles by Gail Gibbons. And she has a really interesting style, right, where she teaches us lots of facts in her writing and also in the pictures, because the pictures have a lot of labels and captions where we can learn more information. So while I'm reading today, think about what new information can you learn about seeds and plants. I'm going to read half of the book today and half of the book tomorrow. The first part, we're going to learn all about the parts of a plant. And then tomorrow, we're going to learn more about how a seed grows. So we will be seed experts by the time we're done with this book. So let's get started. From Seed to Plant by Gail Gibbons. So look at that first page already. We have some really cool labels of the different plants that could be growing in a garden. We have a tulip, a daisy, a rose, a pea, a buttercup, and corn. I know some of you drew corn in the gardens that you drew on Seesaw. Most plants make seeds. A seed contains the beginning of a new plant. Seeds are different shapes, sizes, and colors. Have you seen a seed that looks like any of these ones? All seeds grow into the same kind of plant that made them. So a sunflower seed grows into a sunflower, and an acorn grows into an oak tree. Acorns fall off of oak trees, and if they grow, they become new oak trees. Many plants grow flowers. Flowers are where most seeds begin. There's an apple tree, a dandelion, an aster, and a zinnia. A flower is made up of many parts. Let's look at all the labels on this page here. So this part is called the stem. We know about the stem, right? Here's some other parts. Here's a petal. The sticky part at the top of the pistil is called a stigma. This is a stigma, and this is the pistil. In the center of the flower is a pistil. Stamens make yellow powder called pollen. If any of you have allergies, you might know about pollen, because sometimes when there's a lot of pollen, it makes our nose runny and our eyes itchy. The parts of the flower around the pistil are the stamens. Those are those little guys. In the center of the flower is the pistil. Sorry, I read that already. At the bottom of the pistil are tiny egg cells called ovules. See them in there? Before a seed can begin to grow, a grain of pollen from the stamen must land on the stigma at the top of the pistil of a flower like itself. This is called pollination. You can see the labels again: stigma, pollen, pistil, stamen. And this is called pollination. Pollination happens in different ways. Often, wind blows pollen from flower to flower. So pollen from one flower has to get into another flower in order to make a seed. So one way that it can travel is when the wind blows. And that's probably what makes that pollen get into our noses and sneeze sometimes. I wonder how else it can travel. This is pretty interesting. Bees, other insects, and hummingbirds help pollinate too. While they visit flowers for their sweet juice called nectar, pollen rubs onto their bodies. So there's the bee visiting one flower and getting pollen on his body, and then he will visit another flower to pollinate it. And here's a hummingbird doing the same thing. Remember when we read about Jack's garden and we learned that the garden needs insects and birds? So that's one of the reasons why. Then they carry the pollen to another flower where it comes off onto the pistil. So there's the bee delivering the pollen to another flower. Here's the hummingbird delivering the pollen to another flower. If a pollen grain from a flower lands on the pistil of the same kind of flower, it grows a long tube through the pistil into an ovule. This is the beginning of a seed. The seeds grow inside the flower, even as the flower begins to die. As the seeds become bigger, a fruit or pod grows around them. The fruit or pod protects the seeds. There's the fruit. Here's a pod. What does that make you think of? What kind of vegetable does that look like? And I wonder what kind of fruit that might be. When the fruit or pod ripens, it breaks open. The seeds are ready to become new plants. Does that look like a pea? It sure does. And there's the seed pod opening, getting ready to become a new plant. Some seeds fall to the ground around the base of the plant where they will grow. So I'm going to stop right there, and tomorrow we're going to learn more about how the seed grows. So we learned how the seed got pollinated today, and we learned about the different parts of the plant. And tomorrow we're going to learn more about how a seed can grow. So today is Thursday, which means that you get to watch a Mystery Science episode. This one is really cool. It's called Why Do Flowers Bloom in the Spring? It's going to help us learn more about how plants work. At the end of the episode, you might see this there, but you might need to go to Seesaw to check it out. There's an experiment you can do at home if you want to. You do not have to do this experiment, but if you want to, and if you have the right stuff at home, I think it'll be pretty interesting for you to do. So I'm going to tell you how it works. You're going to take a glass of water, and you're going to get some food coloring. If you don't have food coloring, don't worry about it. You don't have to do this experiment. But if you do have some, you're going to put some food coloring inside the water. And then you're going to put something in the water. You might put a white flower, a flower that's white, or some celery, or a piece of paper towel. So those are things you might have in your house. I want to show you what mine looked like when I started this last night. I took a jar and I put some water in there, and I put some blue food coloring, and then I put a piece of celery. Can you see that? My celery still had leaves on it. So it just looks like blue water with a piece of celery sticking in it. Now we know that plants need to drink water. So what do you think will happen to my celery? I'm going to give you a little preview of what happened, and then I'll show you again tomorrow. So I put it in the water last night, and this morning, this is what it looks like. What do you notice about the leaves of my celery? That's right, they're starting to turn blue. Why do you think that is? All right, so watch your Mystery Science episode, see what you learn, and then go to Seesaw, and if you want to try the experiment, give it a try. It's going to take a while for your flower or your piece of celery to change colors, so you don't need to take a picture right away. But if your experiment works, take a picture and put it on Seesaw so we can all see what happened. The link to the Mystery Science lesson is down in the description, but even easier, just go to Seesaw and find today's activity, and then you can follow the link to Mystery Science. You might also want to practice the song about the green grass grows all around, the green grass grows all around, and we will sing that tomorrow when we have our Zoom meeting. Now, I just want to give you a little hint about something special. We have a surprise at our Zoom meeting tomorrow. I don't want to give it away just yet, but you might have noticed something behind me while I was talking to you today. Did you notice a big pile of books? What is that? So come back tomorrow, and I'm going to tell you more about that big pile of books sitting behind me. See you tomorrow.